How does this keep happening? No, honestly, okay, I'm not even like pumping this up right now. How in these simulations does this keep happening? We are about a week out from the NHL 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs. There's a lot of factors going into the playoff picture right now. This week is a very important week for many teams in the National Hockey League. And if you're like me, you're obsessed with who's playing who. I'm always looking at the playoff picture. I'm always looking at the points, the wild card race. And in today's video, we're really going to solve a problem. We're going to look at the playoff picture as of right now. I'm going to show you where to look every single day so you're not wondering who's playing who. You're looking at the standings like myself and you're super confused. I do not understand how to put this team against that team. When you're looking at the standings and the wildcard race, it really is confusing. But I found a little secret, and I'm actually surprised that NHL.com doesn't have it on their website, but the NHL app on your phone does have it. So you open the app, what you're going to see on the bottom there is you're going to see the team that you're following, the latest, the scores, the standings, and then you're going to see more. And if you look at that more tab, your fifth option down, which I think this is new this year. I've never seen this before. It's not on the website. It's only on the app. You're going to click on that, and as of today, it is going to show you who is playing who, and they will adjust this accordingly day by day. So if Florida and Islanders, they're kind of fighting for points there, right? They might shuffle them around the following day. If the Islanders win or the Florida Panthers lose, whatever the case may be, they will adjust it accordingly so you know who is playing who day by day leading up to when the actual NHL playoffs begin. Now, we're going to have a little fun with this. What we're going to do is we're going to take today, April 10th, the playoff picture as of right now. We're going to throw that into NHL 23. As you can tell, I'm pretty obsessed with simulations and the fantasy and the hypotheticals of the NHL playoffs. We're going to take it into NHL 23, and we're going to see who comes out the NHL Stanley Cup champions. In the first round, we're going to simulate game by game. After that game by game, we'll simulate about 3 games. And if it's getting close, we'll kind of focus in and hone in period by period in those games. So, hey, say the Bruins and the Islanders go to game 7. What we're going to do there is we're going to go period by period, see who scores. But other than that, we're just going to do a full simulation of those games. So that's how we're going to do it. And really, we're going to start right now with game 1 between the Seattle Kraken and the Colorado Avalanche. We're going to simulate 1 game in every single series, and we're going to see who comes out on top from there. Ooh, okay. Some surprising outcomes here. First things first, we're going to look at the team leader part of the menu there. We got 1 game played through every single series, and look at Patrick Kane lighting it up for the Rangers. I mean, if that series ends up happening, which is a very good chance, that's going to be an absolute dogfight. That entire series, as a Bruins fan, if you know we're able to make it deep, which is they should. I mean, anything short of a Stanley Cup for the Bruins this year, come on, we can all agree that that is an absolute failure. The Bruins want the Rangers and the Devils to absolutely dominate each other. You know, they want them to be battered going into the conference finals, wherever they end up meeting. But that series alone, if you don't tune in for every single game, you're missing out. That is going to be an unbelievable series. But regardless, we got in the top left, we got the Avs taking the first game over the Kraken, the Jets over the Knights. That's very surprising. Minnesota Wild over the Dallas Stars, another very good series to look forward to if that's the case. We got the Oilers over the Kings, Islanders over the Bruins. Do not like that. Florida over Carolina, also very surprising, although Florida's won 6 in a row, I think, at this point. So, I mean, we shouldn't be too surprised by that. Carolina missing Svechnikov, I suppose that's a possibility. Toronto over Tampa, same as last year. And then we got the Rangers with Patrick Kane, 4-point game over the New Jersey Devils. All right, we're going to go ahead and sim 2 more games in each series. We'll sim 3 more games. All right, we're going to get ahead a little bit here, and let's see if we can sim 3 more games and see the outcome from that. Okay, so we'll actually pull up the playoff tree. It's a better picture for us there. So in the west side, we got Colorado 3-1 over the Kraken. Yikes. If you're the Kraken, you got to beat up Colorado. I mean, in the game, they're not beat up, but if that's the case, my goodness. 2-2 Dallas and Minnesota. That's probably going to be a 7-game series at this point. I'm going to bet that right now. 2-2 Winnipeg and Vegas? I mean, that is disappointing if you're a Vegas fan there. Winnipeg just sneaking in the playoff spot, end up making it a 2-2. Oilers with a 3-1 over the Kings. Kind of expect that if I'm picking personally. Now, here's where it gets interesting. 3-1 Islanders over the Bruins. Now, you know me, I'm a Bruins fan. That is not a good sign, okay? I do not like to see that at all. 3-1 Toronto over Tampa. 2-2 in the following 2 series. Wow, a lot of surprises. But we're going to simulate 2 more games, which is going to close out a few more series, and we will come back and see the result from that point. Okay, we're going to take a minute. We are going to take just a minute. First off, let's take a look at Mitch Marner's stats there. 6 games played, 4 goals, 6 assists with 10 points. Mitch Marner, unbelievable numbers to start the first round. I have to recognize that first. Okay, so we got Winnipeg and Vegas. 3-3 series. Game 7. Vegas What is happening? You know what we're going to do here? This is what we always do, period by period. We're going to go ahead. The game has begun there. We're going to sim the first period. After the first period, we got a goal by Nick Hague and a goal by Kyle Connor. And it is a 1-1 game. Going on to the second period. After the second, we have Winnipeg leading 3-1. Pierre-Luc Dubois scores, and we got Niederreiter scoring as well. Winnipeg wins the game 3-2 against the Vit. What an upset. What an upset, Winnipeg. Holy. Our first Game 7 simulated, we got the Winnipeg Jets advancing, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Game 7, as we predicted, between the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild. Here we go. After the first period between Minnesota and Dallas, we have a 1-0 lead. We got Zuccarello scoring, making it a 1-0 game. Okay, after the second, 3-1 for the Minnesota Wild. We got a goal by Marchment. We got a goal by Gustav Nyquist. And we got a goal by Dewar. 4-3. Minnesota ends up winning. So we have Minnesota advancing over Dallas. If that series happens, I don't even know who to pick. Both teams are very even. I would probably pick Dallas. I think they have a bit more scoring power in my opinion. But we got the Oilers advancing, as you know. We have Bruins blowing it to the Islanders. Now, if that happens, I probably will not watch the rest of the playoffs because I will be so heartbroken. And we also have the Carolina Hurricanes losing to Florida. That's very possible. With Carolina losing one of their star players and Florida playing so well, that is not overly surprising. That really could happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Toronto advancing over Tampa. And now we got Game 7 between the Devils and the Rangers. Ooh, that East Coast dogfight. Here we go. We're going to simulate this game period by period. Here we go. At the end of the first period, we got the Devils leading 2-0. Timo Meier and McLeod scoring at the end of the first. It's a 3-2 hockey game going into the third period. Take a look at that. Last period, 3-2. The Devils advance to the second round. The Rangers are like, what are they going to do at this point if this happens to them? They picked up Tarasenko. They picked up Kane. They have the ultimate offense when you look at it on paper anyway. And the Devils end up beating them in Game 7. So here we go. Let's go take a look at this playoff tree real quick. We got all the teams advancing. We got the Wild playing the Avs. We got Winnipeg and Edmonton, a redo of the COVID playoffs. We got Toronto and the Islanders, and then we have the Devils playing the Florida Panthers. Okay, this is not what I expected. I will be honestly. So we got Minnesota playing Colorado, the rested Colorado Avalanche. We're gonna go ahead and sim 2 games in each series, and let's see what outcome we get here. I don't know what is going on, but we got the Minnesota Wild 2-0 over the Avs. We have the Winnipeg Jets 2-0 over Edmonton, and they're going back to Winnipeg. We have Toronto and the Isles 1-1, and we got the Devils and the Panthers 2-0. Man, what is going on? I can't believe that second series there. Winnipeg, and if you look at the numbers, we got 6 goals, 7 assists in 9 games played. In Scheifele, he's performing. I mean, nothing outrageous, but very good numbers for Mark Scheifele in the playoffs there. All right, 2 more games. Let's see the outcome here. Okay, we literally just negated everything we just said. So we got 2-2 in the first series. We got Avs winning 2 in a row. We have the Oilers winning 2 in a row. It's 2-2 in the Toronto and Islanders series, and it's 2-2 in the Devils and Florida series. Is this the first time we've seen the second round playoffs 2-2? All across the board? I've never seen that before. All right, moving on. 2 more games simulated. Let's see if one of these series ends up finishing. Okay. We got the Minnesota Wild winning the next 2 games. They won 2, they blow 2, they won 2. Unbelievable, Minnesota. The Oilers went down 3-2, and they end up tying at 3-3. This game's going back into Edmonton, and they're going to see who wins Game 7. We're watching that period by period. And then we got the other 2 series the exact same, 7 games. This is crazy. This, honestly, every time I hop into these playoffs, I have an idea of what I think is going to happen. And I'm telling you, you watch back in some of my simulation videos, I do not understand how I'm surprised every single time. Like, honestly, this is not what anybody could have guessed. We're going to simulate period by period. Game 7 between the Oilers and the Winnipeg Jets. Leon Draisaitl scores. It's 1-0 at the end of the first for the Edmonton Oilers. It is 2-2. Ryan McLeod ends up scoring, and then we got Sandberg and Wheeler scoring 2 goals after the fact to tie it. Edmonton scores. Winnipeg, Edmonton, Winnipeg. And Winnipeg ends up scoring with 20 seconds left to win in Game 7, Pierre-Luc Dubois. And Oilers fans, you're watching this, you're like, no, that's not going to happen. There's no way. And you're probably right, but it seems in NHL 23 in the simulation, the Jets have found an extra push. Like that, the way they started the season in those first 45 games being top of the Pacific, they lost it. They completely lost it in the second half of the season. And now look at them walking through the first 2 rounds with complete skill. And yes, it's 7 games, but the fact that they beat them, we're getting no goals from Connor McDavid. This is wild. Winnipeg Jets have moved on. Game 7 between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New York Islanders. Here we go. Period by period. You know the deal. Austin Matthews scores. At the end of the first, it is 1-0 Toronto. End of the second, 2-1. We got Ryan O'Reilly scoring as well as Brock Nelson. 3-2, the Leafs move on. We got Matthews scoring again as well as Engvall. And the Leafs move on to the Eastern Conference Finals, who they will play. Well, you know the deal, the winner of the Devils and the Panthers. The Devils were up 2-0. Remember that. Remember that. Here we go. Game 7 between the Devils and the Panthers. At the end of the first period, it's 1-0 Devils. We got Dougie Hamilton scoring a goal with 10 seconds left, ladies and gentlemen. 2-1. Florida, Lusterinen. Every time I hear an announcer say that, I'm like, how do you spell that? Anthony Duclair, unbelievable. 2-1, Devils are losing, and it's 2-1 for the Florida Panthers. They were down 2-0. Look at this playoff tree going into the Western Conference Finals. Look at this. Minnesota Wild against the Winnipeg Jets in the Western Conference Finals, and we got the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Florida Panthers. How many comments below am I going to get? This is absolute trash. This is not going to happen. Okay, but we're going to be doing more of these simulations as there's a shakeup in the wildcard race, and we're going to see what happens. Minnesota Wild take game 1 against the Winnipeg Jets, and the Florida Panthers take game 1 over the Leafs. Winnipeg Jets come back, make it a 2-1 series lead for the Jets, and the Florida Panthers make it a 2-1 series lead. Holy junk. One more. 3-1 Winnipeg. 2-2. Toronto ties it. Oh my goodness. Is Winnipeg going to do it? 3-2. Minnesota wins. Oh my goodness. 3-2. The Leafs come back down 2-1 and they're leading the series. They can close it out. What is going to happen? The Winnipeg Jets are going to the Stanley Cup final. This is Canada's dream. Honestly, this is what Canada... I'll be straight up with you. Like, we haven't had a Canadian team in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Is it since 2011? I'm not even going to fact check that. I'm just going to pull from my brain here because I believe it was from when the Vancouver Canucks lost to the Boston Bruins. Was that not the last time we had a Canadian team there? I believe it was. That is 12 years ago. And here we go. Can the Leafs close out? And the Leafs close out. The Leafs close out. We have a Stanley Cup final matchup of the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Winnipeg Jets, and the Toronto Maple Leafs have home ice. Every time I do this, I'm so surprised. Look at Nylander. 19 games played, 22 points. I feel like somebody should have more, but they're obviously getting the full team effort if 22 points is the leader in the playoffs now. Game 1, Winnipeg, Toronto. Game 1 goes to Toronto. Game 2. Game 2 goes to the Winnipeg Jets. Game 3, oh my goodness, hit my microphone, goes to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Game 4 goes to the Winnipeg Jets. Game 5 goes to the Winnipeg Jets. How does this keep happening? No, honestly, okay, I'm not even like pumping this up right now. How in these simulations does this keep happening? We're ending this video right here. Same deal as last video where we made the simulation, and we're gonna watch game 7 between the Winnipeg Jets and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Here we go. This is it. How is this possible?